Well, good morning everybody, here we go. It's Thursday now and feeling good, legs feeling fresh after a nice day of rest yesterday. So, I'm going to try and walk from Blakeney to Cromer. 15.5 miles it says. It's the next stage of the coastal path. I parked up in Cromer this morning, got the excellent CH1 bus, which was full of hikers or backpackers, very full of a path, but so it's delivered me safely back to Blakeney, where we finished up on Tuesday, and it's not as sunny here as it was in Cromer whilst I was waiting for the bus, but I think I'll be warm enough once I get going. Come along for the ride. So now I've got down to the coast and there is definitely quite a strong wind coming, so it's time to put the coat on, and you know, we're on course. Off we go. Half a mile in, it's the third outfit change. The cap's gone. We're onto the woolly hat, because tell you what, these ears need protecting. It's quite a cold wind. Are these abandoned vessels fascinated me? Just left to rot, I presume. So we're already leaving Blakeney behind and skirting round these marshes. The path will take me out to the coastline up there and then along the horizon. Then I think there is our windmill. This is probably going to get down to the panorama. Not really much to see at this point, but the sound is absolutely full of skylarks. Very joyful. And then back that way is our familiar landmark of Blakeney Church. That's where we started this morning. And down, there's the village. We've come all around there. Much more populated than previous walks. And I guess it just goes in patches of being busy or not. Large party coming this way. We are now 1.5 miles in, 35 minutes. Not bad progress. We've done a lot of stopping and starting for filming. Oh, I think there's a skylark now. Listen to that. And behind me, that's about as far as you get, as near to the sea as you get at this point. Turn it around. It turns that way. Which I think is a clay next to the sea. Clay, it's what it looks like to us, but using Norfolk phonics, it's clay. Managed to catch that going up on the holding itself in the wind. I'm not sure what it is, of course, but it might be able to tell me. Fantastic. Here's me, now arriving in Clyde next to the sea. It's the windmill. So we've got to film a little bit of this because it is a very attractive little village. Apparently, I've done 2 3/4 miles, 2.87 according to mine, but that would include walking down from the church. I always get very self-conscious when somebody walks past whilst I'm doing this because I just think I'm talking to myself, but I guess I pretty much am. Beautiful little delicatessen that I am all catered for. Such a pretty little village. I do feel quite the buffoon talking as I'm walking or when there's people around to actually witness it. Loving the Dutch gable around here. And another fine example there. It sure is busy though. So it's probably a little bit foolish that I walked through the town rather than sticking to the path, just to see all the architecture though. It would be a shame to walk around all that. But now, we're back on the path up here. Now we're so close, we're almost on top of it. So, we leave Clay behind. Oh, you can even see Blakeney right in the distance there. So, everywhere we've been, and now we head back out on the coast, back through salt marshes again. It's the farm town on the Clyde Nature Reserve. We need a much better zoom. And a big land like theirs. This is much steam machinery. Big as on lobster. I think the closest that we've been to the sea for a while. Certainly the closest we've been to the sea today. We've flirted with it, seen it in the distance, but actually we're here on the coastline. And this is the shingle that we've encountered yesterday. As you saw from that side, Wayborn miles. So this is it, this is the 4 miles of tramping on shingle and your feet sinking in. Here we go. We'll have earned some lunch by the end of this. We're 4 miles in. We're 4 miles in, 1.5 hours. But I think things will progress a little bit slower in the next 4 miles. Gosh, done 4 miles in 1.5 hours. Then it's going to be 8 miles in 3, isn't it? I think I will have to have a lunch break somewhere along this beach. Find a gap, it's the fisherman. Right, talk about it forever, but I need to get going. Hey, might have made a smart play here because it looks like I've found a patch of sand. Can walk along. It's going to be a little easy. Still sand on top of gravel, but I don't seem to be sinking quite as much. Could go that way a bit, but the fishing rods would be in the way then, so just keep it here behind the fishing line. Hope we get across this section before the tide comes in. So, just 2 hours in now, 5.47 miles. Come all the way down the shingle. I got closer and closer to the sea, it felt like, following the sand. It turned into more patches of sand with little bits of shingle in between rather than a path as it was when we first started out. And as I was down there, I started to think, well, I could be missing something on the landward side. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to come up. And I'm sure that's Blakeney Church where we started, still over there. But then we're on more familiar territory here, I think, because that, unless I'm very mistaken, is Wayborn Church, which means that we are very close to where we walked yesterday. And that's the bus line that's going the opposite direction from the way I went on the bus this morning. But that means that we're past the military museum, presumably. I'm going to have to do a map check in a minute, but I can't see any gun emplacements here unless it's that up there, in which case, yeah, it is. I was getting overexcited, wasn't I? Those are the guns. Ooh, still quite a way to go then. I'll just take you with me back down to the beach because it's a lot easier going down than going up. Going up almost felt like I was never going to get there. So as you saw from the map, still quite a way. So I've just checked the route plan and it says 10.5 miles left, 4 hours left, so that's about right, and 2.5 miles an hour seems to be our average speed. But there's quite a long way before you even get to Weybourne. So really, I should have known this, shouldn't I? Because it said 4 miles to Weybourne, didn't it? And I was on 4 miles there. Now I'm on 5.5. So that still means 2.5 miles to go. 2.5 miles more of shingle. Lovely. Let's have a look at the sea instead. Little wind farm out in the North Sea there. Well, say a little wind farm. Pretty huge wind farm actually. Big group of fishermen ahead. Now I reckon, I don't think you can see them back there anymore, but after a very big collection of fishermen up at Cly, and they were all fishermen, then there was a big gap. Now there's another group there. And I think if we zoom in, that's another group there. And what that tells you is there's a car park there and there's a car park there. Because when you're carrying all that equipment, you don't want to walk too far. That's why you get the fishermen in clusters, I reckon. Oh, any excuse to stop and have a chat, let's keep going. I've been amongst the fishermen now. Still seen somebody catch 2 little things. But I'm gonna go up the bank and hope. But it's a bit easier. Experience from yesterday would tell me it's not, but you never know. So, come on, let's have a go. Well, that was supposed to have been me talking to camera, but somehow the camera had flipped round. So, this time, we'll go together. Oh look, as predicted, some car parking. Nice church. That can't be Weybourne, that, can it? And I was calling that church Weybourne. Now, can't remember what the village is called now. That's where I got onto the walk, isn't it, I think, yesterday. I don't know. The village church is the Salt House. And coming up ahead, I think this little bank here is Grenborough Hill. Beyond that is the Mickleborough collection, which is the guns. And then Weybourne home, so we're not that far. I'll do you another map check, because I'm sure it's all useful stuff. I've just come up onto that grass bank to have a break from the shingle. I kind of want to get off this section before I stop for lunch, because I worry that stopping and then having to restart might be difficult. On the other hand, it might be just what the doctor ordered. I'd also quite like to stop halfway in, which would be when I get off the shingle. So there's a lot of things pointing towards keeping going. Decision time. Well, I decided to carry on. I'm 7 miles in now, so I think it was the right decision. See fishermen getting closer all the time. I'm struggling to find decent sand. I've ended up right down on the edge of the sea now. I can feel that's going to come over that bank in a minute and wet the feet, but looking for firm ground has been tricky, but we're not far off now. We're not far off at all. Take two. I'm trying to film myself without cutting the top of my head off. I've got the phone angled upwards now. I'm probably shooting over the top of my head now. We'll have a look and see. Having watched that back, it seemed about right to me. So, just got to try and remember that angle there. Develop the logger's muscle memory. This gentleman's caught a few. We're just coming into it now. So, this is the car park for Waybourne Beach. I don't know if I got it on film or this is a national competition, that's why there are so many here fishing today. But when I get to that little bit of path that's not shingle, that's where we're going to stop for lunch. As this is the halfway point, it's the end of this shingly stretch, fingers crossed. Although what might be over there. But it's going to be time for dinner. Just done a whole big piece to camera without pressing record, but I've stopped now for my lunch. 8.4 miles in, 7.8 miles to go. Just had a nice hard-boiled egg. I'm going to have a chicken sandwich. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? The egg came first for me, and then we'll be carrying on. So that's where we've come from. That's the North Sea in all its glory and the big skies. And then that way is Sheringham, which I think is only about 3 miles away. And then after Sheringham, on to Cromer. And if I just pivot around this way, that's the one at Waybourne, I think it's left yesterday. And now it's back. For now, butty time and then that way. Just leave you with that view, I think. Out to the wind farms. Oh, here we go, back on the road again. You know, after the rigours of that shingle bed, I do keep going on about it. This is lovely walking now. Cliff tops, wind's dropped, nice grassy path, soft under your feet, but firm at the same time, if you know what I mean. A bit of spring in it, but not subsided. And a few other walkers earlier on. Did you pick up the sound of the train then? And there's been a lot of bird life, which of course, as soon as you get the camera out, decides he's going to fly away. But I shall keep my camera handy, just in case I do manage to snap some of these. But this is very pleasant walking indeed now. Feeling much better after my lunch. Egg, chicken sandwich, banana, nice drink of water. Eat up the miles into Sheringham now. This is how you know you're nearly in Sheringham. That's the Sheringham golf course, for sure. See quite clearly where our path goes. I'm hoping we go up to that top of that hill there. So there's white posts marking out of bounds on the golf course, isn't there? Presumably they're teeing off from somewhere up there down onto this green. Well, you just know that if I was playing, I'd be up there and my notorious slice would be sending it out of bounds. Guaranteed. Well, this is all a bit immaculate, isn't it? No idea. Nearly up to that cabin. I bet that's part of the golf course and I can't go there. Although there's lots of paths, aren't there, so we live in hope. It's getting a bit warm as well. Oh, it's windy on this bit. Might have to take my coat off when we get further on. So, right, there it is in the background. Sheringham Coast Watch. Turn it around. See where we've come from. So, there's been a slight snag with the technology in that we're saying 10.13 miles on here, which would mean 5.8 miles left. Well, the map actually says 5 miles left. Somehow, after lunch, I discovered I paused it. Now, I never pause during lunch because it messes up my statistics and I forget to switch it back on. But somehow I have paused somewhere along here, so all the figures off my Fitbit might be slightly out. But anyway, basically, we're just up above Sheringham. We got 5 miles to Cromer. Result. So you have to do a little bit of a detour around the lookout station, but then this is the view into Sheringham. The rest of it, a very imposing golf course. And then there's the main body of the town ahead. And over that bridge, presumably, and on to Cromer. Follow the yellow brick road. Coming into Sheringham now, and the coat's off. It's that nice. just down off the headland when the wind dropped. Lovely. Enjoying my afternoon. I seem to remember this pond and having a fantastic yacht and spending hours that summer, whatever year it was. I'm going to say 1976. There was a plague of rain flying out of that. Might have been a bit later than 76. But I feel very much like I spent a lot of time sailing my model yacht on here. Gosh, didn't expect to see that. Slightly apprehensive because I haven't seen a sign. The Coastal Path. For a long time, there's lots of direction signs. And that one's there. Norfolk Coastal Path. So the map seems to think I'm on the right course. Can't be far off. It's just if it's one of those promenades where you can't get off it at the other end. But we'll see. Oh, it's still has coffee stop, but what's worse than that, it's shut. Good job I didn't want a coffee in it. Hooray, a sign. Everything's alright. So now we're leaving the town behind us, still slightly in civilization because we've got concrete seawalls and handrails and all that kind of stuff, but it's not a proper made up pathway anymore. It's the gravelly hard standing type thing, and then there's these cliffs towering over you when you've been walking for the last hour alongside, say, crumbling rocks and stay away from the cliff edge and all that. And then you're walking underneath the next set of rocks thinking, ooh, that's a lot of cliff to come down on my head. I should stay on this cliff seawall and keep out of the way. Made a bit of a boo-boo. I've just looked to see around 4 miles to go. However, you'll have noticed from that screenshot it says you are off course because we're down here. The path is up there. So there are still people walking down here. There are people along here, so I'm going to take that as a sign that it's okay to carry on, and that looking at the map eventually the cliffs will come down again and I'll be able to join back in. Otherwise we could be in trouble. So no public transport involved in the Japan today. Today we're racing against the tide. I don't think we need to panic too much. So I'm pretty sure on the other side of this sea defence we're going to have scope. But we always like to have something to keep us on our toes, don't we? It's a beautiful sunny afternoon as well, eh? I'd like to be taking my time, but I think I'd better crack on. 3 miles to Cromer. Well, I think there's a sanctuary ahead. If you look right up there, that looks like a way off the beach, which is probably a good idea, seeing as that gap there in the centre of your screen now, I came through when there was no water there. Now the tide's right over it. Drama! So up ahead, a large group of high-vis people. Don't know what that's all about, but how confident they come back within the bounds of the beyond the bounds of the sea defence, whatever that thing is. Because it's much easier to walk on this. Back up there, I was in amongst the dreaded shingle and big stones, whereas here, we're okay. It's slightly more of a margin before the next gap that I'm heading for gets cut off by the tide. What a beautiful day now, getting quite what? Probably looking very red-faced as well, aren't I? Yeah, I thought I might be. So there behind me now, our first glimpse of Cromer Pier, the end of today's stays. Is it actually in the shot? Yeah, it's there, it is, look. I make my way up here, get off this sand and see if I can regain the actual path, because OS Maps has been pinging me for the last 10 minutes saying you're off course. Well, I know that. I always thought it was beans means Heinz, but not round here. Now this is more like the coastal path terrain that we're used to. A little school party behind me, so I'm not going to do any selfies just at the moment, not inadvertently want to get somebody's children on my YouTube channel. But this is the way forward, with Cromer Pier as the objective. I think we're West Runton now, which is just on the outskirts of Cromer. Got a nice little diversion through well, not a diversion, the official route is through a caravan park. Not sure where we go now, just down the road for a little bit, I think. Oh, the final leg has come through East Runton, the Runton Depth, and going down the way tells us it's down here through another caravan park. Last caravan park we went through was very nice. That was a Haysbury one as well, I think. We had a nice trip through the caravan park. So around the backs of the caravans, really, in between two rows. So didn't see it at its best, I don't think. Now I think this is just taking us back to the road, so the caravan park has just saved us a bit of traffic, and we're all about a traffic-free route for sure. So nearly there, 1 point something miles. Oh, and so the final few steps. Going big on the prehistoric stuff here, aren't they? Deep history. Doggerland. Let's find out more about that. That's the William and Wall, I'm sure. But anyway, our destination lies just ahead. Oh yeah. Ooh, funny how you pick up speed when it's downhill and you're nearly at the end. So, it's been a good one. It's been a long one. I'm feeling tired now, but not disastrous. Not as tired as I was the other day. And hey, I've watched this 14.9. But you know, it's 15 and a bit because of that pause. It's been a good day. Number one, fish and chips in Cromer looks very tempting, but got to get to the pier first. So this is probably a good place to bring it to an end, with Cromer behind me. Out here on Cromer Pier, I walked from Hunstanton in 3 days with a little day off playing trains in the middle. It's been brilliant. Hope you enjoyed coming along with me. So unfortunately that was the last day of this Norfolk trip. As you can see, I walked from Blakeney to Cromer, about 15 miles. There's a more detailed view of the route. The route continues from Cromer on to Hopton, which is just beyond Great Yarmouth, so there's a fair bit of distance still to do, and I'm hoping to get back there and finish that off later this year, so watch out for that one. Next trip, Norfolk Coastal Path.